Hi guys, it's Yashi and welcome back to Crypto News today. Let's get started, let's hit record and let's go. We're gonna start with prices first. Bitcoin 16,670 went down a lot compared to last week. Obvious reasons, FTX, Binance, Alameda and much more. However, it's starting to recover a little. We have a little bounce, not much, but something is happening. 2.26% up, Ethereum almost 2% up, BNB 3.32% up. BNB probably is the best player right now. They're both the superhero and the supervillain. First coming to save FTX, then saying no, it's not worth it. Then trying to jeopardize other exchanges like crypto.com with questionable, let's say, movements that they saw. And last but not least, we will have an article that is very interesting regarding Binance today. Last crypto token that I'm mentioning here is Kronos, down a lot in the past week from a 12-cent top all the way down to 5 cents, but now recovering a little bit. Now onto CoinDesk. For his article here, first mover Asia, extreme fear hits crypto of FTX, hack and movements make a bad situation already worse. And what comes next, we'll see. Of course, Asia being the one directly targeted with this, with many crypto exchanges in Asia itself, FTX, as well as, for example, crypto.com, hit very badly. Another thing that this article mentions is how the SEC kinda is disabling the viewership of some speeches that the Ripple CEO mentioned in the past, which will be really beneficial to the crypto market. One of them is, for example, is the one where the Ripple CEO mentioned how Ether can be officially considered non-security because of complete decentralization. I won't go too much into detail, really complex, but there is a mix of bad and good news at the same time. After Bitcoin's worst week in 5 months, here's what crypto analysts are saying. Of course, crypto analysts, CEOs, very negative towards FTX. You should not be using funds of customers to use it as collateral. You should not play with it. You should not risk it, and it is basically a deposit like in a bank, especially to buy risky investments. Some are saying that this is simply the law of the bear markets, where the good players will come out victorious on the next bull market, while the bad players will be completely destroyed and leaving a better environment in the future. Binance, this is the interesting article I mentioned in the beginning of this video. Binance started recovery fund for crypto projects facing liquidity crisis. Binance, together with many other exchanges, are trying to create a fund to pull in some liquidity for exchanges that might be facing a liquidity crisis. On one side, Binance is the reason why FTX kind of collapsed, because they were the first people that released the information about wanting to sell all their FTT assets because they thought that they were kind of sketchy. But at the same time, they're the ones that on top of trying to provide some clarity about the crypto world, some transparency by releasing their, let's say, reserves and everything, now also want to save the crypto environment. Because on one side, yes, you are trying to make it a safer place, but by making it a safer place, you might be jeopardizing the entire crypto market and slowing down the transition of people towards this world. So yeah, they're creating this little fund here to protect and save other, let's say, exchanges that might be running into some, let's say, liquidity issues. Last but not least, on CoinDesk, actually, we have two more. Crypto.com CEO dismisses speculation of financial troubles, says FTX exposure is minimal. Crypto.com the past couple of days has been at the center of the whole FTX conversation. First of all, because it seemed like they were very exposed, but they just confirmed that they were able to recover almost $1 billion worth of, let's say, assets from FTX, as you can see here. And secondly, they also released their reserve, kind of like Binance did in the first place as a first mover advantage. Binance, however, mentioned in a Twitter a few days ago that basically there was a questionable transaction between Crypto.com and Gate.io in the hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum that then of course went back into Crypto.com. Crypto.com mentioned that the transaction was a wrongful transaction. They tried to push those assets into a cold wallet and ended up going into a shared wallet of Gate.io, which then was recovered. Questionable, no questionable, mistake, we don't know, it's all speculation, but there was a transaction. Last CoinDesk article, I wanted to put this one here because it's interesting and questionable at the same time. There was a crypto token launch platform, TokenSoft, that has doxed 4,500 users, calling them bad actors. Basically, to be part of the pre-sale, all the people who were part of it had to KYC, basically release their personal information. During the pre-sale, there were some questionable movements, and the platform basically doxed 4,500 people that were, let's say, signaled as a part of these questionable movements. So yeah, their personal information were released. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? In terms of privacy, of course, it is very wrongful. In terms of justice, if let's say the allegations are true, nice, but it is allegations. So is it correct? From a legal perspective, I believe, depending on where you are, for example, America, it should not be considered as a correct thing. But it happened. We're gonna see if this will continue on the news articles in the future days, how, let's say, institutions will act to it, if there gonna be some lawsuits. We're gonna see how it plays out. But this is a first time situation, so interesting. I'm curious to see what will happen. Now on to crypto news. Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, says that Bitcoin will come out on top following FTX collapse. Still very bullish, won't go too deep into it. And we have also other CEOs very positive about Bitcoin, even after all these problems. Experts believe this new metaverse crypto robot era can 20x by 2023. Not yesterday, 3 days ago, I mentioned how this robot era token has been released recently, how it's getting a lot of traction. It is considered a metaverse token. The way I see it is more like a video game, kind of like a low graphic design Calvaria, where you're playing with robots and rebuilding a whole world. We gotta see how it plays out. Fact is, there's a lot of news around this across all the news articles, websites. On to the next one. Government official, FTX collapse will not stop Hong Kong becoming a virtual asset hub. In the past 2 weeks, pretty much on a daily basis, I've been mentioning how Hong Kong is trying to become the virtual hub of cryptocurrency. And even if FTX kind of messed up a lot or slowed down things, Hong Kong is still on top of every single news website out there with the same thing. They want to keep on being the virtual asset hub. How? They want to help institutions on one side and also retail investors. In the past, they mentioned how they want to give a certification to retail investors just to make sure that they know what they're doing and understand the risks of everything. This side here has not been mentioned on this article. Did they change something or did they not want to focus about it? I don't know, but fact is, they always want to be on top of it. Crypto exchange just suspended withdrawals. What is going on? I won't go deep into this one. Crypto exchange AAX announced that it suspended activity for up to 10 days due to a scheduled system upgrade. So this is the first one I've been seeing. Exchange that trying to upgrade the whole, let's say, website and algorithms and everything during a very tricky time. Has this been chosen on purpose? Was this already scheduled? That is the question. But around this whole FTX situation, we're seeing some interesting movements across multiple exchanges. We saw Crypto.com with that transaction before the FTX issue. Actually happened in October, not in November. And now AAX announcing that they're going through some updates. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if they're gonna pop up again. Now on to Cointelegraph, last but not least, Elon Musk, you know him. BTC will make it, 5 things to know Bitcoin this week. I won't go into detail of this. Fact is, it talks about how Elon Musk and other key players are still optimistic about Bitcoin. Institutions saying that it is now a pretty good time, let's say, to come in, considering the prices of Bitcoin in the past. but some institutions still thinking that it might go down even more. I'm a lot on TikTok, and let's say the retailer sentiment from what I see from normal single players is still pretty negative, but we're gonna see, not financial advice. Crypto.com is in trouble, but a 50% prior to rebound is in play. As I mentioned in the beginning, Crypto.com is up compared to the, let's say, weekly low that we saw yesterday. Will it rebound to 50%? We don't know, but it is starting to move up again. Last but not least, El Salvador, I had to mention them, says Bitcoin is the opposite of FTX. Of course, having put so much money into a government fund, you want to keep the, let's say, optimism up, or else people won't believe in you. Honestly, I hope the best for them. Not financial advice, just my opinion. I still hope the best for them. Guys, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Ciao.